You want to do something about your back pain, it's a common problem. Look, it hurts here, but in our experience, that is not the cause. The cause lies rather in the fact that we have muscles here in the front, such as the hip flexor. This is a muscle that lifts the leg. It runs from here over the groin to the lumbar spine and into the pelvis. And due to our constant sitting, it shortens more and more according to our experience. And then, when you want to stand again, it pulls the body forward, the muscles in the back have to counteract, and then the back muscles burn with pain because they can no longer resist, because the pull forward is too strong. And there are two exercises against it, two fundamental exercises that, in our opinion, directly address this problem at its root, and we are doing them now. And that's why Felix came, he's doing it now, and I'll explain to you exactly what you have to do. There are two exercises. I had just explained that everything up front is too short. What do we have to do then? We have to go ahead, naturally stretch forward. And the stretching in the front occurs when you overextend yourself backwards. This can be done in various variations, on the ground, by letting it hang. Today we are going to do two exercises that you can do while standing, without needing a mat or anything else for it. You only need a wall. You stand against the wall, Felix, do your best, and raise your hands slightly above shoulder height, maybe get a little closer, exactly. And now, first of all, get out of the hollow back. Pull in your belly button, tuck your pants, maybe tuck your shirt into your pants, then you can understand it a little better. Now pull in your belly button, and as a viewer, observe what happens to the pelvis. You arch your lower back like a duck's butt, and now, yes, exactly, it is strongly curved here, and now pull your belly button back. So the back becomes straight there, and what does the pelvis do? The pelvis twists in such a way that the pelvis, which was more like before, becomes steeper. And that is the prerequisite for it. That is the best exercise position. You stay like this, and now you push your groins forward, and with your hands you push yourself a little away from the wall so that you come into hyperextension. Exactly. And push yourself a little further away so that your stomach doesn't come too close to the wall. You can balance it now, yes.
And then just continue forward with the groins the whole time?
Keep moving forward, and you can also let your head fall back. Where do you feel it now, Felix?
Especially in the lower back.
Best to stay like this, lower back, wonderful. Don't worry if you feel it in the lower back, if you feel exactly what you want to get rid of, because by lengthening the front, it holds against the front, and that practically causes the same pain. But that's just an alarm pain. It has nothing to do with being damaged or harmed, right? It's just a sign the tension is now too high in the front. When you pull on it, it loosens more and more, and the feeling doesn't arise at all or much later, yes.
This is also an exercise that is very difficult for me, by the way, because this is actually one of the most challenging exercises that we have, in my opinion.
This is the most unpleasant for most people. Why? Because we always sit like a pocket knife in this angle. That is already a challenge, and to exaggerate that, that is even more challenging, okay? So, now the intensity, what you feel, where it hurts, and keep your head calm at the back, yes? What you feel where it hurts, you hold it in such a way that it is just bearable. Go to this limit, just bearable.
Also, I can feel it now in the front, in the stomach, by the way.
Beautiful, yes. The more you feel, the better. The more you perceive on your body that something is being stretched, the better the effect. So simple is the world, yes. Okay? And you notice that you can always go a little further back as it gives way. So the position can always be adjusted and increased. You're also trembling a little, yes.
Yes, that is really very exhausting, yes.
Exhausting, yes. Felix is a strong guy, does a lot of strength training, but these exercises often push one to the limit because the muscles, even though they are strong, react simply when they are too short and stretched in length, yes. This is also quite a challenge for the nervous system, but all of this is good because it's called training and it leads into the pain-free zone, according to our experience, yes.
So really,
in most cases. So, and now something about time. The whole thing must be increased for 2 to 2.5 minutes, always in a way that the pain intensity is just still bearable, just still positive. And then you slowly go out, very slowly, and that is a great relief, right? Describe how you feel now.
Yes, super good.
I understand.
But why super good? Why? So now in this case, I really have it in the front. I'll first take off my t-shirt. I have it in the front. The tension on the abdomen was very high. And at the same time, I also felt it in the back on the spine.
And if you're in that tension all the time, firstly, it's just very relieving not to be so tense anymore. And you also immediately feel a relief.
Also, tell me, do you do abdominal muscle training?
Not so regular, but yes. What are you doing to tighten the front, to tense the front? I do abs, but I also do sit-ups, for example, once or twice a week regularly. Yes, so that's basically the reason why we say that if you have acute back pain, sit-ups are a great exercise. But leave them out for a few days, 1 or 2 weeks, until the pain is completely eliminated, and then you can start again. So don't cut them off completely, not that it is something bad, but just for 2 weeks. Every workout is good, and every muscle building workout especially, because muscles are so important. Yeah, very, very important also for metabolism. But just be clever. If something is too short here in the front and you want to make it longer, first you have to get out of the pain.
Then don't make it shorter right away, because then, yes, then the stretching work you've done is naturally taken back a bit, yes.
One can do that, but it is wiser to first minimize the shortening and then continue. So a tip from you?
I might have one question first, if that's okay. So one can compensate for that with the exercises if I do them regularly? So if I do strength training and exercises equally, then I'm not at risk of it somehow shortening. That's okay, right?
So everything is shortened, ultimately everything is shortened, except for the exercises that one then does. They then extend it again, yes. But whether you run, do strength training, engage in any sport, or sit at a desk, yes, there are shortened muscles everywhere. And the secret, as I would call it, of how you can cope with it is quite simple. You listen to your body. Where will the pain arise next? Now here in the example, back pain, so I have to compensate for that. So your individual movement profile, where the peaks are, where pain arises, is simply balanced out, and then give yourself some time, 1, 2, 3 weeks. Where you focus on getting rid completely of the pain, so bringing yourself into relaxation, and then start again with your normal workout and see how it is balanced. And then you'll find the right dosage. How often do you have to do the exercises to maintain balance so that no tensions arise? But we still need to do a second exercise because now we've addressed the cause and now we're focusing on the opposite side. When you went out earlier from this position, what would you have liked to do? Just feel inside yourself for a moment.
Yes, ideally the counter movement. So if you were like this before, then ideally curled up, so to speak.
And that's exactly what you do when you practice. You stand up, maybe a little away from the wall, feet parallel and pointing forward. Straighten your knees fully. And just let yourself hang down, just let yourself hang down without stretching yourself too much. Just let yourself hang down and feel where it pulls the most.
I can still feel it now from the stretching before, still in the spine here in the middle.
Yes, okay.
And now the most pulling, and to answer your question, that's in the back of the knees and here in the lower back.
Okay, attention. Now you have to understand the following. If the pulling in the back of the knees, which is good because stretching is usually needed there, prevents you from going further into the stretch, then you slightly bend the knees. If you bend your knees a little bit, you will notice that you no longer feel this nasty sensation in the back of your knees, and you can pull yourself down even further here. You may even be able to reach behind your calves and then pull yourself down along your legs.
Yes, yes.
You can add even more stretching there. And now in the normal case, it pulls everywhere here, and that is the good pulling. Because here is this tension. Most of my people, which is caused by it, is pulled forward. The back is counter-tensioned. Therefore, the muscles are always in a state of tension. The masseuses and masseurs always say, oh, you have another tightness there, I can hardly get through. Or patients say, it's all so tight, I can hardly move anymore. It's like a corset. And do you feel how it dissolves, Felix? Yes, very clearly. Describe it.
Also, at the beginning, it still felt quite tense when I started the exercise.
But now it's such a pleasant pulling, so to speak. You can feel how it decreases over time. And what do you do then when it decreases?
Then I can actually go down further.
Then you should increase.
Now I can already reach the floor with my fingers.
That didn't work at the beginning during the stretching. Yes, but you have to consider that you also have your legs slightly bent.
That's right, yes.
So that is a difference, but it doesn't matter. So now here, can you stretch even more? Is that somehow possible?
I believe so, yes. I think I'm only limited here by my knees, which tighten up at the back.
They're starting again? Exactly. Then you bend a little more? Yes. Yes, but if you notice that you still can't get in further, then stay for 2 to 2.5 minutes and then slowly go out again. Yes, come out slowly again, Felix. You can come up again. Then maybe do a few compensatory movements afterwards.
Yes, shake it once.
These were the most important exercises for addressing the cause and the counter-reaction to the cause. And with that, usually the whole thing is already pretty much dissolved. Describe something else that would be important from your perspective.
First, do the exercises regularly, of course. I made the mistake myself when I didn't do it. And I believe for me it is always important when one still checks oneself during the stretching, when one wants to make sure again, for example, with the knees. I believe personally I tend to avoid and simplify the exercise myself when it is difficult. Therefore, I would always double-check the stretching position and make sure that I am doing the right thing.
Exactly. And you will notice, by the way, depending on what Felix says, after a while the pulling in the back of the knees will become less and less. And then you can also do the exercise without having to bend your knees a little. Just to understand this very precisely, at the beginning we did it for that reason. Because if it cannot be stretched further up here, because it already pulls too strongly down into the back of the knees, the exercise is limited. And therefore, but only then, bend a little, then it will be free down here. And you notice, oh, now the back can be taken further forward. This is the effect. Thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful to you. We'll see each other. If you want to see more exercise videos, please click there. Otherwise, we simply say ciao.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.